on a talk. But before we discuss this further, a sneak peek at the economic survey, which is going to be presented shortly, both in Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha by the Finance Minister. It's going to be followed by a press conference by the Chief Economic Advisor at 2:30 p.m. and of course the big budget tomorrow. But let's take a look on what the economic survey is likely to be focusing on. We can expect a 6.5% to 7% baseline growth projection, which is with an upside. In fact, this is something which has already been projected by the IMF as well, and as far as other ratings giants go, whether it's the Moody's and the S&P for that matter, the RBI has also raised the growth forecast to 7.2%. And this is exactly what Fitch, ADB, IMF has been saying. We've been talking about the 7% growth story. The biggest criticism which came in of this government and which became the fulcrum of the India alliance is that this is a government which has just indulged in talk. They have not walked the talk. There are no jobs. There are rising prices. All of that, the budget will have to squeeze in and address.
Well, Pallavi, if you see the larger picture, of course, there is opposition will say that against the government, but if you see the larger picture, the global growth rate is less than 3% post-COVID. India is still growing at 7% as IMF and ADB has projected for this year. And India is the fastest growing economy right now in the world among the major economies. So the larger growth story, I think the larger success story of the Modi government can't be brushed aside. It is a fact that the government has come out well outside the post-recovery of COVID, post-recovery of India has been among the best stories around the world. That said, of course, there are challenges, and the present election result, I think, has exposed that there is this problem of inflation as well as unemployment on the ground. People at the ground feel that your government is painting a rosy picture, but at the ground, when we go to seek jobs, we have seen these visuals coming of hundreds turning up for a few vacancies. So obviously, the problem of unemployment, the sheer numbers that India has, will always pose that challenge of unemployment. And that is why I think the top focus, both of the budget and the economic survey, will be on jobs. How to create more jobs. The government will, I think, have to think out of the box here in the tech sector, in the MSME sector, the two biggest sectors providing us jobs in the country right now. New things will have to be thought about on how job generation can be increased, and quality jobs. Not just menial jobs. Quality jobs can be created, because the bigger concern, I think, among the youth, and when we traveled through the elections, was that people say we are well educated, we don't get a job for our stature. We get job which is much below our stature, if maybe not even of a graduate stature. So I think that is the real concern of the government, and we could see some light on that when Nirmala Sitharaman presents the seventh
underemployment factor. That is what they are talking about. Jobs which do not match up to your skills. Payal, when there was a continuity maintained as far as the cabinet is concerned, pretty much a reputation of the bureaucrats, the argument which came in from the government and also from the BJP was stability and a Prime Minister's faith in his team, that this is a team which has delivered and this is a team which is going to continue. Do you see a pressure also on the Prime Minister, because this is going to be his budget as much as, we talk about the Finance Minister's budget?
Well, of course, it's Prime Minister's decision that is, valued over and above everything else on every smallest issue. And that's probably one important lesson for a lot of students of political science, to see the kind of effort that Narendra Modi puts into everything, whether it's a small thing or it's a big thing as well. But yes, a big message of continuity really sent over here with the repetition of Nirmala Sitharaman, Hardeep Puri amongst the others as well. So the message that Prime Minister tried to send is that even if I have 240, all my top haunches are back. And that's something which, of course, the BJP takes a lot of pride in, that we've given respectability to our allies. None of our allies have been haggling on ministries, etc. But, Pallavi, one thing that the government is now missing is the voice of reasoning. When the late Arun Jaitley was around, everybody could go to speak to him, everybody could reason out with him. That voice has been making. That voice has really been missing, because the opposition does not really know who they can't run to the Prime Minister for everything as well, right? And they feel that, that middle voice of somebody who can reason out with them, somebody who can argue with them, somebody that they can fight with and also have a cup of chai with, that seems to be missing. I really hope that Mr. JP Nadda, who's now become the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, is able to fill in that gap for the party.
But I think Rajnath Singh has been performing that role over the past few weeks. In this government, I've seen, holding the Beat the All Party meeting yesterday, or the other talks about who will be the speaker to get a unanimity. I think Rajnath Singh has tried to play that role in this particular edition of the Modi government much more aggressively.
But you know, the story is absolutely different when it comes to the Rajya Sabha. You know, the Rajya Sabha leaders are more experienced, more aggressive. They know their stuff.
Yeah, and I also want to point out Rajnath Singh himself might be in the dock for opposition for what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir. They're
And
not going
Agniveer.
to, yes, and Agniveer also. They're not going to let go of that opportunity because Jammu is facing a crisis. Yes, steps are being taken, but they will raise this issue there. That you said there is a Naya Kashmir. What about Jammu? What is happening there? Why is it that our soldiers are getting killed and body bags are coming back home? So for Rajnath Singh and also perhaps for Home Minister Amit Shah, there could be questions from
the Prime Minister's visit to Kargil on Dras on 25th is going to be extremely, 26th of course, is going to be important. But you know, the point is that you can be heard if the other side wants to listen to you. I don't think the opposition is in a mood to even listen, because the morning shows the day. They get up early in the morning and they've decided, okay, and Rahul Gandhi is back as an LOP, so you know he's going to be very, very aggressive. And look at his team. I mean, his team has been chosen from the Congress party who are very aggressive, and so therefore. Do you think that's a stumbling block for the government also, that they are now meeting with a Naya opposition, so to say?
Yes, belligerent is the word. I mean, they have decided, like yesterday also, when it was pointed out, Kiran Rijiju tweeted and said that live tweeting of all parties is something that is against parliamentary protocol. What was the immediate retort? That what about Rahul Gandhi's video getting leaked from Lok Sabha? That video is not part of Sansad TV records. Where did that come from when he was allegedly trying to marshal the opposition MP, especially from Manipur, when the PM was speaking? So for everything that the government is saying on social media, the opposition is out to counter that. If the West Bengal law and order situation is being highlighted, if the women of West Bengal are being highlighted by Bharatiya Janata Party saying you are not safe there, they are immediately showcasing the Rewa, Madhya Pradesh video where two women allegedly, because they were protesting against some land grab, they were almost buried alive. That's the allegation.
Yeah.
So for every tweet or every campaign from the government side, opposition is ready with a counter campaign, and that could be problematic because nobody wants to sit across the table and talk anymore. Each
And
one
most
wants to
importantly,
score
the
a point.
acrimony that one has witnessed so far between the TMC and the Congress party is not that existent. We see it from the galleries. Everybody's listening to what Rahul Gandhi is saying. For example, when he was marshalling the resources for everybody to come into the well, when the Prime Minister was really speaking, that's something which has been a different change. And we've seen Akhilesh Yadav also tour along.
That's the thing I was coming to. The bonhomie between, say, an Akhilesh Yadav and the TMC. I mean, he was the only one from the India Alliance who actually was present at the Martyrs' Day or the Shaheed Divas. But Akhilesh Yadav is also being used by the opposition party, Rahul Gandhi, to showcase the fact that, look at the Uttar Pradesh factor. UP has gone through its own foil. But, you know, beyond that, Amar, there are those important state elections which are coming up, Maharashtra, Haryana. The opposition is convinced, and Jharkhand of course, the opposition is convinced that these are the three states where we are going to come back to power. Which is why the budget becomes even more important, and which is why the way the flow management takes place in this budget session becomes even more important. Does that pressure begin to show on the BJP at some point of time as a political party?
Well, obviously these three state elections are a big challenge for the BJP. I would even say the fourth one, Delhi, which happens in next February. All these four state elections are tough for BJP. They are a big challenge, especially after what has happened in the Lok Sabha. That said, I think this budget will have some indicators. Already we've seen in Maharashtra, BJP government, Shinde's government already rolling out these so-called freebies. You know, the allowance for women, the allowance for the unemployed who are passing out 6,000 rupees a month. You know, for women also he's made this announcement. So BJP, I think, increasingly in states is going down that what they've shunned till now was the freebie route. We saw that in Chhattisgarh before the elections, the last minute announcement was